Before the millions, before the trophies, before the famous number 7 shirt, Cristiano Ronaldo was just a boy growing up on the small Portuguese island of Madeira. Born on February 5, 1985 in Funchal, Ronaldo grew up in a modest family where football quickly became more than just a game to him. He played wherever he could, on streets, at school, and anywhere there was enough space to kick a ball. Even as a child, he dreamed of becoming a professional footballer. But his dream required a sacrifice that most children would struggle to make. Around the age of 11, Ronaldo left Madeira and moved to Lisbon to join Sporting's youth system, leaving his family and the familiar life he knew behind. He was still a child, surrounded by people he barely knew, thousands of miles, or more accurately, hundreds of miles, from home. Yet instead of giving up, he trained harder. UEFA records that he progressed rapidly through Sporting's youth ranks, even training with older teams while still very young. He wasn't the strongest or most famous player in the world at that time. He was simply a skinny teenager with extraordinary confidence and an obsession with becoming better. Every training session became another step toward his dream. And eventually, the boy from Madeira would walk onto a professional football pitch for the first time. Nobody knew it yet, but that teenager was about to begin a journey that would change football forever. Ronaldo's rise happened incredibly quickly. At Sporting CP, his speed, dribbling, confidence, and ability to take on defenders began attracting attention. In 2003, at just 18 years old, he played against Manchester United in a friendly match that would change his life. His performance impressed the English club so much that Manchester United moved quickly to sign him. When Ronaldo arrived at Old Trafford, he was still a raw teenager, not yet the powerful goal scorer the world would later know. He initially wanted the number 28 shirt, but manager Sir Alex Ferguson gave him something far more symbolic: the legendary number 7, a shirt previously worn by Manchester United icons such as George Best and Eric Cantona. The pressure was enormous, but Ronaldo didn't run from it. He embraced it. At Manchester United, he slowly transformed himself. His body became stronger, his finishing improved, his decision-making became sharper, and his flashy tricks began turning into something much more dangerous: consistent goals. He faced criticism, defenders who tried to stop him, and the enormous expectations that came with playing for one of the world's biggest clubs. But every setback seemed to make him work harder. Then came the breakthrough. In the 2007-08 season, Ronaldo became one of the most feared attackers in world football, helping Manchester United win the Premier League and Champions League while establishing himself as a global superstar. His transformation was no longer a secret. The boy who had left Madeira had become one of the biggest names in football. In 2009, Cristiano Ronaldo made another enormous decision. After becoming a star at Manchester United, he moved to Real Madrid for a then world record transfer fee of €94 million. The expectations were almost impossible. Real Madrid wasn't simply asking him to score goals. They expected him to become the face of one of the most famous clubs in football history. And Ronaldo responded in the only way he knew: by working harder. Season after season, he broke records, scored extraordinary goals, and turned pressure into motivation. His rivalry with Lionel Messi became one of the defining stories of modern football, but Ronaldo continued to focus on his own standards. At Real Madrid, he became more than the winger who once relied heavily on speed and tricks. He evolved into an extraordinary goal scorer, combining movement, finishing, heading ability, and physical preparation. In 9 seasons, he scored 451 goals in 438 appearances for Real Madrid and won 4 Champions League titles with the club, including 3 consecutive victories from 2016 to 2018. He also became the Champions League's greatest goal scorer, eventually reaching 140 goals in the competition. But behind those numbers was a lifestyle built around discipline. Training, recovery, nutrition, and constant improvement became part of his identity. Real Madrid had taken a superstar from Manchester and turned him into one of the most complete goal scorers football had ever seen. But club football was only part of Ronaldo's story. For years, he carried the hopes of Portugal on his shoulders. He experienced heartbreaking defeats, including the Euro 2004 final loss to Greece on home soil, and faced criticism whenever Portugal failed to win. Yet he continued returning to the national team year after year, tournament after tournament. Then came Euro 2016. Portugal reached the final against France, but Ronaldo's night began with heartbreak when an injury forced him off early. Many players would have disappeared into the background, but Ronaldo stayed involved from the sidelines, encouraging his teammates and pushing them forward. Portugal eventually won 1-0 after extra time, giving Ronaldo and his country their first major European championship. It was one of the most emotional moments of his career. Years later, Portugal also won the 2019 UEFA Nations League, adding another international trophy to his legacy. Ronaldo had finally achieved something that had once seemed impossible, winning major silverware with his country. And yet, his story was far from finished. At an age when many footballers were already thinking about retirement, Ronaldo continued searching for another challenge. In 2018, after 9 extraordinary years in Spain, Ronaldo left Real Madrid and joined Juventus in Italy. Once again, he had to prove himself in a new league, and once again he delivered goals. But football never stays still. In 2021, Ronaldo made an emotional return to Manchester United, the club where he had first become a global superstar. The return created enormous excitement, but the second chapter did not unfold as many fans had hoped. Results, team struggles, and disagreements eventually led to his departure. In late 2022, Ronaldo began a completely different chapter by joining Al-Nassr in Saudi Arabia. Some people questioned the decision and wondered whether the greatest stage of his career had already passed. But Ronaldo continued scoring. FIFA notes that he extended his Al-Nassr contract through June 2027 and remained focused on winning major honors in Saudi Arabia. Instead of quietly fading away, he continued competing at an age when most elite forwards had already retired. His journey had moved from the biggest European stadiums to a new footballing environment, but the ambition remained the same. He still wanted to train, score, compete, and win. By 2026, Cristiano Ronaldo was 41 years old, an age at which most professional footballers had been retired for years. Yet he was still playing and still representing Portugal. UEFA's 2026 records list him as a Portugal and Al-Nassr forward at age 41. The 2026 FIFA World Cup became a historic final chapter in his international career. Portugal eventually lost to Spain in the round of 16, and after the defeat, Ronaldo confirmed that the tournament had been his last World Cup appearance. However, he had not announced his retirement from international football, meaning the end of his World Cup journey was not necessarily the end of his Portugal career. And perhaps that is the perfect way to tell Ronaldo's story. He began as a boy from Madeira who left home because he believed he could become a professional footballer. He faced loneliness, criticism, defeats, injuries, enormous expectations, and the pressure of being compared with the greatest players of his generation. But he kept returning. He kept training. He kept trying to become better. His career has produced 5 Champions League titles, 140 Champions League goals, international trophies with Portugal, and countless individual records. But numbers alone don't explain Cristiano Ronaldo. His story is ultimately about obsession, discipline, and refusing to accept that the dream is over. The boy who once left Madeira with nothing more than a dream eventually became one of football's most recognizable figures. And even at 41, his story still isn't completely finished.